Okay, terrific. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. All right. So today, very excited. I really couldn't wait all day. This is the first fully automated strategy by NINZACO. NINZACO has been around for a long time, makes amazing products, and today, fully automated strategy. Um, Let me start with an apology. So, normally, and you know that I always trade um, uh, funded accounts from a prop firm. I have overall 11 funded accounts with five, right? Yeah, five prop firms. But I realized today was normally the webinars are at 4 o'clock. So I can show you the total on the chart. However, today, and I didn't realize it until halfway through the day, it's at 8 o'clock. What happens at 6 when Globex opens, right? The P&L is reset to zero. So once I realized that, I just took a screenshot. And all I have today is a screenshot of the PA account that I used for today's trading for the IMT Rex fully automated strategy. Now, someone's mic is
Chị vô được
on.
mà.
Uh,
Chị vô được
Ninzaco,
mà.
if you are there, please make sure the mics are off. If someone is there from Ninzaco, please make sure the
Chị
mics
vô
are
được em.
off.
Ai cần lát chị nói không?
Oh boy. Okay, not great. Please turn off your mics. I do believe we have someone here from Ninzaco. That's what they told me at least. And mics need to be off. Okay. Any case, why do I trade prop accounts, funded accounts? Because my idea is just the way I feel about trading. If I cannot make money with something, I am not promoting it. As simple as that. I am not one of those that shows you market replay or some sim accounts or even evaluation accounts that cost what, like $5 now. I show accounts that matter to me. Yeah, I always show funded prop firm accounts. Today, because it's at 8 p.m., I could not show it to you on the chart. Just took a screenshot. So I'm sorry for that. In any case, first of all, who in the world am I? Well, my name is James Buckman. I'm a retired New York City Department of Education school principal. Always wanted to trade, always, always. Even when I was in college, 20 years old, I always wanted to trade. My school was located on the Lower East Side of Manhattan, just a few stations away, subway stations away from the financial district. I made some connections. I met some very smart people who took their time with me and transitioned to electronic trading later on, and partnered up with NINZACO back in the summer. I have my own Discord group, my own live room now. So trading for about 16 years now. The first 7 years, like anyone else, I fell on my face. I have my bruises, I have my scars to show you, but I came out on top. My attitude always was, as long as I'm not quitting, I'm not failing. You can only fail if you quit. If you don't succeed at first, it's part of your growth. So as long as you keep at it, you're not failing. That's my approach. In any case, let's start with this. Why automation? Why is automation? It's like, a buzzword now. Everyone wants automated strategies. Why automation? Why not just trade manually? Is there any advantage to trading in automation, using automation, as opposed to trading manually? Well, I came up with two things, so kind of wrote them here. Speed of execution. speed of execution. Some of markets, for example, the NASDAQ that everyone loves, this market can move. And if you traded the NASDAQ today, let's say first hour of the day, this thing moved. Whatever signals you would get, whatever setups you are using, if you try to take those trades manually, you would never be able to compete with the speed of execution that a machine could make. As simple as that. Let's say you have some indicator and it gives you a sell signal. Well, this signal is going to travel right through your eye into your brain. Your brain needs to analyze it. It shoots a message to your hand and you click the button. Now, by the time this happens, the trade already got away from you. Okay, you are already just a bit too late. And in a market like the NASDAQ, that could make all the difference. Someone's mic is still on. Whose mic is on, guys? Turn the mics off. Come on, guys, don't do this to me. Turn the mics off. I wish I knew how to do that, but I don't. So, speed of execution. First thing, you cannot compete with a machine, period. You just can't. Another reason full automation is so great, discipline. See, a machine does not get frustrated, right? A machine takes a loss, it will treat the next signal as if nothing happened. It's not going to move stops unless it's part of its program. It's not going to be it's not going to be it's not going to be playing with the target because it feels nervous. It has no frustration. It's not nervous. It has no fear. It has no greed. So discipline. To me, these are the two most important reasons why you should choose automation as opposed to manual trading. Now, but obviously, the automated strategy better be profitable, otherwise it doesn't matter. So, what I'm going to show you today and what we're going to discuss, and I really want to take my time and talk about this particular strategy. You're nice enough to join me so late in the evening. I want to make it worthwhile for you. This strategy, NINZA code, this is not something they just put together. This is something they've been working on for over a year. It is quite unique in what it does. And NINZA code, from its tests of this, don't look at the special yet. From the testing it does, and it did some back testing, it discovered that the system has 30 to 50% win rate given a 3-to-1 risk reward. Now, the way I traded it, and I am going to show you charts from today, the way I traded is I traded with a 2-to-1. I risk $100 to make $200, 2-to-1. So, the key, and I found a way, and I'm going to share it with you, where my winning rate is slightly better than 50% with the approach I'm going to show you. Now, why is that important? If you have, let's say, exactly a 50% winning rate, let's say that's what you have. If you have a 50% winning rate, and you risk 100 to make 200, let's do the math. So if 5 out of 10 trades, you win 5, that's 1,000. You lose 5, that's 500. You walk away with $500 after 10 trades, minus commissions, of course. So if you can have a 50% win rate, with a 2-to-1 risk reward, you walk away a winner. What if it's just 40%? Same exact approach, 2 to 1. What if it's 40%? All right. So 4 times 2 is 800. And 6 times 100 is 600. You walk away with $200 in profit. Yes, minus commissions. You are still coming out ahead after winning only 40% of your trades. But I'm going to show you how you can do better. So so basically what this strategy does, so that's what I discovered when I first received it. What this strategy attempts to do is it attempts to find overbought or oversold situations. If it sees an overbought situation, it will sell it. If it sees upon confirmation, by the way, not just sell it, sell upon confirmation. If it sees an oversold situation, it will buy it upon confirmation. So after I kind of ran it in sim the first day when I received it, I saw that and I immediately realized something. So, and a lot of you have been trading for a while. You guys know this. So I'll apologize in advance, but not everyone has the experience. So I'll just say it like this. If you have a strategy or an indicator even that looks for overbought or oversold situations, it's going to be fine, more than 50% of the time. It's going to be completely inadequate for about 20% of the time. About why? Okay. When a market is trending, when it's a very directional market, like for example, the NASDAQ from this morning, when it's a very directional market, today was straight down, very directional. A market that is directional cannot be oversold. You understand? A market that's coming down cannot be oversold. A weak market, truly a weak market, cannot be oversold. Truly a strong market cannot be overbought. These are concepts we use, but that's when overbought and oversold indicators don't work anymore. But don't work, of course they still work. What I mean is the signals would not be profitable signals. A weak market can continue to be weak for a long time. A strong market can continue to be strong for a long time. So what I figured out is, okay, so if a strategy tries to identify overbought or oversold conditions, I don't want to trade it. I don't want to activate it when a particular market that I'm trading is directional. When, for example, the NASDAQ, when is the NASDAQ or the YM or the Russell, when are they directional? As a rule, most of the time. And when are they not? As a rule, most of the time. Well, definitely during major news events, right? A market could be very directional during news events. Do I want to activate the strategy then? No, I do not. No, I do not. A market could be very directional, like the NASDAQ or the Russell or the YM, when the US session first opens, right? Do I want to activate this kind of a strategy then? No, no. I'm going to let things calm down. What am I looking for? I'm looking for a market that is oscillating. I'm looking for a market that is breathing up and down, without any real direction. It's just oscillating. When does this happen? As a rule, for the most part, after 10:45, 11 a.m. Eastern, and then up until maybe 2:30, maybe even 3 o'clock. Now, 3:30, half an hour before the session closed, once again, things could start moving very fast in a particular direction. I no longer want to activate it then. So you need to know what you are dealing with. That's why it's so important to whatever you buy, whatever you're considering buying, you need to observe it. There is a manual that comes with the strategy. I'll be completely honest with you. I did not read the manual. Okay, and that is that is because I am very passionate about trading. I love everything about it. So I want to learn for myself. You know, I am not the kind of guy that's going to ask someone, give me the settings. No. I'm going to sit down and I'm going to figure it out. There is a reason why I'm telling you all this, because when I'm going to show you live charts with the signals on them, you're going to see what I mean. All right. So, So the whole idea is you want to limit risk. You cannot eliminate risk ever in trading. You want to limit risk. You want to allow the opportunity. If a market is moving in your direction, with this kind of a strategy, you want a reward to be greater than your risk. Because if the strategy is right, and let's say we have an oversold situation and the market turns to go up, it could go up quite a bit. So there is no reason to risk too much, because if you are wrong, then the market's going to just keep on going lower. There is no reason to risk a lot. I only risked in every market I traded $100. So 20 NASDAQ ticks, OYM or RTY, and 10 crude oil ticks. That's all I risked. My target was 40 ticks in NASDAQ, RTY, and YM, and 20 ticks in crude oil. So we're going to get to the charts in a minute. I just want to kind of give you this preview. So this is what I mean, right? It looks to find areas of oversold or overbought conditions. And as long as you don't have a market that is just completely one directional, if it's a word, completely directional market, that this strategy is going to do extremely well. But again, so you just got to stay away from what? Again, news announcements. You don't want it. If there is a Fed speaker speaking, you don't want to activate it then. US session opens, you don't want to activate it then. The market's about to close, the pit session's about to close. Nope, you don't want to activate it then. Ideal times, in my opinion, maybe Globex, let's say between like 6 a.m. Eastern and maybe 8 a.m. Eastern, maybe even 8:30, as long as there is no news, right? So we got to watch for that. And then 11 a.m. Eastern to maybe 3, max 3:30 Eastern. So, yeah. Second, what do we have here? Sorry. Some of my... Okay. All right. So, oversold, overbought. And this is, now stops don't have to be big, right? Here was a losing trade over here. Stops don't have to be big, because if all of a sudden goes from an oscillating market to a directional market, there is no need to take big stops. Then you just get out. You don't, there is no reason to really risk a lot. Losing trade, but a winning trade is much bigger. And what I'm going to show you soon with me as well, it's not 3-to-1. I think they show it as 3-to-1. I used 2-to-1. And again, if I can find it, I can find it now, but it was like around $900 is what I generated today, and it could have been more. I just disabled. I'll talk about this a bit later. Let me just not confuse things here. Okay, so yeah, so obviously it's going to take only one long position. It's going to take only one short position. Here is what I mean. So this actually is a perfect example, right? This is an oscillating market, back and forth, back and forth. This is the perfect situation for this kind of strategy. And by the way, it is the number one enemy. This situation here is the number one enemy of a trending indicator, whatever it might be. A trending indicator would not do well here, but a strategy that looks for a range and then trade that range from oversold to overbought, that's exactly what it's for. And again, you see how the stop is not that big compared to the profit. And of course, it would not take, here, obviously we have an oversold situation, but as I said, it's not just going to take a trade because the market is oversold. It's going to wait for confirmation that indeed the move down might be over, and then here is the long, right? And then price is going up. So here is a few examples. This is kind of a in between a market that is directional and is oscillating. Again, stops are much smaller. With this kind of strategy, the stops must be much smaller than the targets, because in reality, you could have a win rate that is less than 50%. So it's important to take advantage of the winning trades. And as I mentioned before, right, when you have even a 2-to-1 risk reward and you have only a 40% winning rate, you still come out ahead. So just more examples. Okay, I really want to get to the charts. I don't want to keep you guys here for too long. So yeah, I want to show you so this is their back test. So this is a 2-year, I think, back test. And again, what I can tell you is it's like 150,000 or something like that was the result. But I think that's actually is not impressive. You could do better. You could do better. I'm going to show you how. So this is the NASDAQ. What is nice, the drawdown is not too bad. Again, because the stops don't have to be big. That's the beauty here. You don't need big stops here. This is the YM. So YM looks like it's doing better. From my experience from today, actually, YM did better also than the NASDAQ. I'm going to show you the charts in a minute. But very consistent. And again, it's because with this kind of an approach, you don't need big stops. That's the biggest asset here. Yeah, it was between 100 and 100. Again, I think this could be better if you going to adopt an approach that I'm going to show you. So maybe let's start. Give me 1 second. Let me just find all the charts. Yeah, so let's start. All right, let's start with the YM. So again, as I told you, everything got reset to 0 once Globex opened. All right, in any case, right, 11 o'clock. So as I said, when it comes to indices, I would not activate this strategy before 11 o'clock. I would wait for 11. Things tend to slow down after 11. Now, what happened before, I don't even know. Maybe it would have done okay, actually. But no, here was a loss. This would have been a loss here, right? This would have been a loss. This would have been a win. So this is before 11, right? This would be a loss. So you see quite a few losses before 11, and that's expected because that's when the move happens, especially in the first about half hour of the day. So 11 o'clock, that's when I come in. That's when I think this strategy should be activated. So let's see. So first trade. So 1-0. Here is a loss. 1-1. Here is a loss, 1-2. Here is a win, 2-2. Here is a win, 3-2. Here is a loss, 3-3. 3 and 4, 4 and 4. 3:30, I'm done. I'm not going to trade this, as I said, after 3:30. Now, 4 and 4, what does that mean? So I won 4 at $200. That's 800. And I lost 4 at 100 apiece, which is 400. So it's $400 profit before commissions. Okay. And overall, we had what? 4 and 4. So it's 8 trades. I call it $40 in commissions. So you walk away with about 360 from the YM. You walk away with 360 while having a 50% winning rate. Now, it could have been worse maybe if I traded outside the times that I mentioned, right? For example, well, no, there was a winning trade, so maybe not. But my rule is still to be done by 3:30 and to activate around 11 o'clock. Definitely before 11, there was some losing trades. There was some winning trades too, but some losing trades before 11. So for the YM, 4 and 4, that's 50%. 50%, when you risk 100 to make 200, is beyond excellent. Beyond excellent. Let's move on. I want to save crude last because crude impressed the living daylights out of me. Let's move. Okay. The Russell. Oh yeah, and another thing. I am always asked if another time frame worked. So for today, I had the King Renko, I had the 300 tick chart, and you're going to see charts with a NINZA a NINZA Renko. So this way, everything is represented. This is a 300 tick chart. Okay. Let's see. So 11 o'clock. 11 o'clock. First trade is a losing trade. Second trade is a winning trade. I lost 100 to make 200. No, I'm sorry. Hold on. What? Yeah, this is after 3:30, so I'm not counting this because I'm not trading after 3:30. So the Russell on a 300 tick, 1 and 1. Lost 100, made 200. You walk away with $100 in profit for the Russell. So this is a 300 tick. If you try maybe 100 tick or something else, maybe you'll get more trades. But this is 300 tick chart. 1 and 1. Not bad. Again, 50% winning rate means that you will be profitable if it's a $100 risk versus a $200 reward. Now, where is done? Grab it. Sorry, guys, I'm trying to grab a chart and I can't quite grab it. Why can't I grab it? Why can't I grab this chart? It's weird. Okay, can grab the NASDAQ chart. All right, anyway, let's move on to the crude oil chart. Now, crude oil, man, I really wanted to save it for last, but I can somehow grab my NASDAQ chart, and I don't know why. Oh, wait, hold on. I got it. I'm going to save the crude chart. Hold on. Sorry about that. Let me show the NASDAQ. The NASDAQ was terrible. Let me show the NASDAQ. The NASDAQ. So let me first kind of tell you this quick story. So if you trade the NASDAQ, for the past week, even more, it hardly moved. I mean, just in a tight range, back and forth, which is perfect for the strategy. I was so excited. It was just perfect. I mean, I was running it. It made all kinds of money during these days when things weren't going anywhere. And of course, because that's life. On the day of the webinar today, and I always show you guys the day of the webinar. I never cherry pick. I don't show you some great chart from 2 weeks ago. It's always from today. But as you know, today things moved. I mean, moved. And I was sitting there saying, oh man, this is not what I want. But all right, 11 o'clock. I'm turning the NQ on, and a loss straight out the gate. Boom, losing trade. Said I just knew it. You see this trending market. I mean, if there was no webinar, I wouldn't even do anything with the Nasdaq. But I had to be consistent. I had to be fair. I said, fine, 11 o'clock. I'm turning it on. 0-1. 1-1. It was a winning trade. 1-1. I said, all right. 1-2. Losing trade here. 1-3. Losing trade here. 2-3. 2-3. Winning trade here. 2-4. Losing trade here. 3 o'clock, 3:30. 2-4. Terrible day for this strategy in a Nasdaq. But that to me is the eye opener. Terrible day for the Nasdaq. 2-4. Break even. Break even. So I have a chart that did terribly, which I knew would do terribly from the beginning, based on the action that I've seen in the morning. Terrible. I mean, bad. I am break even on a chart that did terrible. So I'm up in the YM. I am up in the Russell. I am break even on the Nasdaq. Now watch crude oil. That's what, So crude oil comes in. Crude oil comes in. Now, crude oil is not, right? The pit session opens at a different time, at 9 a.m. So I don't want to trade it at 9 a.m. for sure. But I'm okay with trading it at 9:30. The first half hour passed. Crude oil, I don't want to trade it the first half hour, and I don't want to trade it after, say, 2 o'clock. Crude oil, because it's a different schedule, right? Okay, here comes crude oil. You ready for this? So crude oil risks 10 ticks to make 20. 1-1. I'm sorry, 1-0. 2-0. 3-0. 4-0. Are you kidding me? Now, here I don't trade anymore, right? Again, I don't want to be trading crude after 2 o'clock because I know the schedule. I don't want to be doing that. 4-0. So let's review again. We had the YM, which did nice, right? The YM did nice. Russell did okay. 50% winning rate in the Russell. 50% winning rate in the YM, which means I'm coming out ahead. Terrible in the Nasdaq, 2-4, which means I'm break even, right? And then here comes the crude oil. 4 for 4. Now, overall, it's better than 50% winning rate. Better than 50% winning rate in a strategy that you have 2-to-1 risk reward, but you risk 100 to make 200. This is the recipe for consistent profitability in trading. If you can come even close to 50% winning rate when risking 100 to make 200, it's cake. Then it's just a matter of sitting back, and this is in full automation, so you don't have to do anything other than turn this thing on, and just, I mean, we're not. After seeing how badly and again, I keep saying how badly the Nasdaq did. It did badly, but I broke even, right, for the Nasdaq. I mean, that's as bad as it was for today, and I just knew the Nasdaq was going to be bad. But crude oil just blew me away. just absolutely blew me away with look how perfectly it picks tops and bottoms in the market that truly is oscillating. This is a directionless oscillating market. This is it. That's what you want. And for the past week, that's what the Nasdaq has been, just going absolutely nowhere. I was running this strategy saying, I can't wait for the webinar. And of course, on the day of the webinar, things go wild. But that's, you know what? But that's trading. That's why I don't show you some charts from 2 weeks ago. I'm going to show you stuff from today, the good, the bad, and the ugly. And Nasdaq today was ugly for this strategy. For this strategy, I want to say one more thing. Yeah, because it's in my notes. I want to say one more thing about automation before we get to the deals and everything. And prop firms. Now that's because I just want to make sure that you know this. Make sure you read the conditions, terms and conditions and whatnot. I'm sorry, 1 second. Just okay, sorry. For whatever prop firm you are with, see their conditions for, I'm sorry about this, for trading in full automation. Some prop firms forbid that. Not only that, I think because they don't like it, by the way, they don't like it because it increases your probability of success. Just that's a whole different discussion. But they don't like it. And funny things sometimes happen when you try to trade in full automation. I don't know if you have this kind of an experience. All of a sudden, things happen. And it's not the software, by the way. It's not the software. It's something with rhythmic. And my suspicion, it's something with those prop firms that they do, whatever they do. I don't know. It's not the software. It's the rhythmic connection, and I think it has to do with the prop firms. Here's how I go around this. I actually trade. This chart is connected to a SIM account. The chart that's the strategy is on is connected to a SIM account. I then use a copier that copies the trades from the SIM account onto a funded account. And that, for whatever reason, solves all my problems. And again, I'm not good with technology. I don't know if they still can detect that I'm using automation or not, if that's how I go about it, but I had zero issues since I started to adopt that approach. Because me too, I had a number of times when funny things happened when I was trying to use automation. Obviously, I still keep an eye on a copier. You have to. But pretty much all of the issues have gone away. So again, I'm going to kind of review what I just said. I use SIM account for the chart that has the automation. I copy with a trade copier this account onto the funded accounts, however many accounts I want to copy them to, and I have no issues. I wanted to say this because quite a few people in my Discord group are using automation of different companies, and actually, one of the members in my group told me about this some time ago. And when I began to adopt this approach, it solved all my issues. I have no more issues with automation, so I just wanted to share this with you. Okay, deals, offers, deals, and offers. Okay, deals. Okay, so only 5 copies, guys, and there was a reason for that too. There only 5 copies. So this is again NINZA's first fully automated strategy. Has been in development for over a year. I have watched it, and it's can do some pretty amazing stuff under the right conditions. Normal price is 10,000. They offer 5 licenses for $23.96, and it's just 5. There will be updates to this strategy. Obviously, whoever owns it is going to get free updates. I spoke to NINZA about some small improvements that I felt would really benefit the users just with the way to interact with the strategy. So there will be updates in time to the strategy, but again, the key here is not to simply turn it on and whatever. You must, with anything in trading, you must approach it scientifically. You must observe, you must use your prior knowledge to ask yourself, how does this system fit? How does it fit? What is it looking for? What is it looking to do? And once I saw this, after the first day, I realized exactly how to use it in the most perfect way. And that is, it's the answer to the times when things are choppy and you tell yourself, man, things are so choppy, I can't trade this. But that's exactly what the strategy loves. It loves times when things are choppy and not trending. It does its best when things are not trending and just go back and forth. And if you have the right risk reward, you don't need to have an 80% win rate. You can do amazingly well with 45, 50% winning rate is amazing for this kind of an approach. Now, I am going to get to your questions, so you can write the questions down. I'm just going to get a quick glass of water, and I'll be right back to answer as many questions as I'll see. So give me just 1 minute. All right, so let's start with can you schedule times when it can trade? Not at this point. If someone is here from NINZA, you can correct me if I'm wrong. But right now, I don't see a way of predetermining trading times. I think it's one of the updates that will come with the strategy in time. I do think it's very beneficial. It's actually interesting you mentioned it because it's one of the things I mentioned that would be nice when I communicated with NINZA about the strategy. Because this strategy is so, the success of it, or let's say the improved success of it, is dependent on times that it's traded. I do think it would be beneficial to have times as part of the program of the strategy. SPY, I don't know about SPY. I never tried it on SPY. I don't even know if prop firms allow SPY. I don't know about that. Let's see. So no, so this strategy is strategy all by itself. It is not something you would use to automate signals from other NINZA indicators. I do think they're going to be working with something like that in the future, but this is kind of a self-contained strategy. Okay. So their back testing, I think, was done on a tick chart. Again, if someone is here from NINZA, maybe you can answer that. I think it was done on tick charts. I don't think it was on King Renko. I happen to really like the King Renko bar, but that's why today I can't tell from here if it was done on King Renko bar. But again, that's something that NINZA can answer If they're here, let's see what else. Hold on. Yes, I used only default settings. As a matter of fact, there was not much here to change. It's one of those self-contained strategy. There was not much at all um, to change. As far as ideal times, again, the times that I told you is from my experience, right? Because I need to ask myself when a market's oscillating as opposed to directional. Understand, everything in trading is about an edge. Is it always true that markets are directional when the pit session opens? No, no, it's not. Is it always true that markets tend to be more range bound after 11? No, not always, but most of the time. And in trading, all I need is an edge. So if something is true most of the time, that increases my probability of being successful. So that's what I went by. So I don't mind again sharing with you, and I can share it with NINZA and they can maybe post it somewhere. But um, you might be able to come up with even better times. This is just from my experience, from my observation. Smart flattening, in what situation is it useful? I don't know. Again, if someone is here from ninjatrader, maybe they can answer that. Smart flattening, I don't know. Just the truth, I don't know. All right, settings that could be optimized. So all right, let's see what this. I wanted to show this anyway. So let's go into strategy. This is the strategy. Let's disable it so we can see this better. Disable, apply. So not much could be changed. Again, everything is within the code. That's pretty much it. You can determine if you want a market order, a limit order, the stop and the target. So I said again, in crude oil, it's a 10 tick stop, 20 tick target. And I imagine that's the only thing you can customize here. There is not much. Everything else is just looks like yeah, I think it's the only thing as far as the settings for the strategy that you can optimize. Yeah. Again, you see, I'm using a SIM account and I'm connecting that SIM account in a copier to a funded account. And that's, I found, solved a lot of the issues. Okay. All right, next. I know when they say 5 here, they mean 5 licenses. Let's go back. This is 5 licenses. Once you get a license, you can put it on 20 different instruments. As a matter of fact, that's probably is a different video. But one of the ways to be profitable um, overall is to really try and trade more than one market. For example, in my Discord group, I give trading levels for 7 futures instruments, and one of the benefits for that is that, for example, the Nasdaq today, as I have shown, was not great. It just broke even. But crude oil did amazingly well, right? NYM did fine, and the Russell did fine. You will always have at least 1 or 2 markets that are not cooperating. But if you have, I guess, a portfolio of markets, you have a strategy or a setup or an indicator that overall is profitable, there's a certain probability of success, then it's better to, I don't know if to say better is the right word, but you probably have a higher probability of overall success if you trade a number of markets. So I went on a tangent here, but this 5 refers to the number of licenses, not the number of instruments. Once you get a license, you can trade as many instruments as you want. So I spoke about optimization. Personally, I received it beginning of last week, right? Yeah. I finally, so I can show you. I sent it to NINZA, but they didn't post it, so I can just show it here. Where is my Discord? So in my Discord group, if I channel, this is the public channel. I scroll up. This was the first, and that was what? That was Thursday of last week, I believe, or Wednesday of last week. Here I use just a sim account. So this was the first time I ran it, and I did fairly well. I was actually very impressed after the first day of running it. The following day, I ran it, as I described, in a sim account, but connected it to a live account, and I've shown that with my Rhythmic dashboard. But again, I didn't see it being posted yet by ninza. But yeah, so not that long since last week, and with today I traded it overall. I think in total of five days in total. I traded this 5 days in total, 2 days on live accounts. Okay, what cup here? So I'm using Replicanto. Been using it for a while. Since I'm not very good with technology, I don't look for something while when I already have something. I know there are other copiers by now. Maybe some of them are even less expensive. Replicanto has been around for a while, and I have, again, all my issues with automation stopped after I did what I described to you: connect the strategy to a sim account and then copy them to a funded account. Had no issues since. Now, someone wanted a 45 NQ. Can grab my NQ. Oh, here we go. So NQ. You said what? 45? 45. Okay. I assume you mean ninzaFamily, so let's try it. Why not? Data. Nope. What did I do? Okay, something wrong. Data. Okay. What's not working for me here? Okay. Here we go. 45, right? 45. Let's try it. Why not? And I don't have all the answers. 45. Okay. Yeah, probably would have been okay. Yeah. Yeah. See? And this is a winning one. So you know what? There you go. So, someone who has an idea that they didn't even have. Now, it's, you really got to do it in real time, though. I know it looks great here, but remember, it's only a 5-point stop. So you don't know in real time if you would actually be taken out before the move. So maybe you would need a bigger stop. Okay, so I would actually say you do need a bigger stop with a 45 bar. You would also obviously need a bigger target. You need to stay at least 2-1, remember. So let's say instead of 20 tick stop, you have a 40 tick stop as an example. Then your target must be 80 ticks. So, because sometimes things look good, but it doesn't necessarily mean that in real time it would work out. But I think what you suggested is something that is definitely workable, and it did better uh, than my bar type. Remember, I do my quote homework a day before. Right. I don't do things after the fact. That's silly. I do my homework the day before. I come in with a certain bar type in mind. What I chose because, as I said, things have been sideways for the past week, and I did not know that today was going to be this crazy day. But this is interesting. This is interesting. Um, Regarding times again. So again, as far as times, from my understanding, from my experience, either between say 6 and 8 a.m. Eastern, 6 and 8 a.m., and then after that 11 to maybe 3:30 the latest, 3:30. Not the first 60 to 90 minutes of US session open. All right, so yeah, I'm not going to go through through every instrument and start putting different bar types. Maybe we can have another webinar when we can really, I guess, talk about that. Yes, you are correct, of course, with the Ninza Renko, because it's an irregular bar. It the entry would not be where it looks like it is. That's why I said you really need to see how it behaves in real time as opposed to just looking at historical charts. But as far as their back testing, I'm fairly sure that was done. Where is it? That was done on the tick chart. The tick chart is fairly accurate. It's not like a Renko bar. So no, so that's so what did I use? I used the tick chart here somewhere, right? On the Russell. So I used the tick chart on the Russell. Let me bring the Russell again. So this is hold on 1 second. Let me just hold on. Here it is. Okay. So this is the Russell. And this is pretty accurate. So this is the Russell. It had a loser and a winner. So this is a tick chart, a 300 tick chart. So again, a loser and a winner still means you come out ahead. Okay. Okay, so I'm just kind of going over it. I think I got every question. If somehow I missed, again, my email, where is it? You can just email me directly, and I will answer whatever question I missed here, or if I wasn't clear about my answer. Something that comes up very often: how do I know which, for example, brick size to use? Obviously, I don't know. Trading is not about knowing. Trading is all about probability. So all I'm doing is I'm looking at a day or two before, and I'm seeing how a particular, if I'm using some kind of a Ninza Renko or a King Renko bar, I'm seeing how it behaves over the past 1 or 2 days. I don't go back a month or something. It's pointless. Markets change all the time. I just try different brick sizes. So today, definitely for the Nasdaq, I did not quite have it right, but I still managed to pretty much break even in a Nasdaq. Maybe the 45 that my friend here suggested would be more appropriate. I did not know that ahead of time. Tick charts also, is it 100 tick, 200 tick, 300 tick? I just put it on and see what behaves the best when I'm getting ready for the trading day, especially if I have a webinar, if I'm making a video. I'm just really trying to see what behaves the best, and that just gives me a decent probability then that in this present day, this bar size or whatever time frame it is will continue to do well. But trading is all about probability. Nobody knows the answer. There is no the answer. Um, as I always say, trading, there is only one holy grail in trading, and that is you. You are the one who is going to make something work or not. Everything else we have, well, the indicators and the strategies and the setups, these are all tools. That's it. That's it. At the end of the day, it is us that can make the difference. And all this is simply probability. I thank you all for being here today. Thank you. Let's once again just put this up. And I thank you for your support. I thank you for being here. Email me with any questions. Um, I'm kind of going through it now. I think I got everything. If I missed something, I'm sorry, not on purpose. Just email me. And I hope to see all of you in my next webinar, which I'm not sure when it will be, but I hope fairly soon. Thank you all. Have a good night.